Hello, 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 you absolutely wonderful, sexy, goddamn gorgeous sexy human beings. Did I get enough sexies in there? I'm not even sure if I got enough in. I may need some more. Welcome to WRD Gaming and welcome to another episode of Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars Reforged. Let's continue on. Now, as you can see, we are in the hospital last time. Well, this is where we left off the last time, should I say. Now we need to get over this direction. Problem is, every time we go over this direction, this old bastard wants something, so we can't get past him.
Oh, Doctor.
See what I mean?
What now? You didn't finish taking my blood pressure.
What am I supposed to do with this guy? There's that one nurse. She's very by the book.
Okay, let's try again.
Just turn down my volume on the old headset.
You don't have the first idea what you're doing, do you?
He's caught me on.
I'll come back when you've recovered your manners.
Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We will go to the main reception area because if I remember correctly, there are a couple of doctors there. And we should maybe get their advice. Maybe even nick one of them. There's Mr. Shiny. It's sparkling already, telling me what to do. A few minutes. Oh, I went the wrong direction. Did I? Where the hell am I meant to go then? Oh, here. Maybe it's out that way. Go that way, George. I think it's out that way. Yeah, here we are. Alright, so let us... Now we're dressed as a doctor. We'll see if he treats me with a bit more respect. Not even respect, it wasn't disrespectful, just a bit more interest.
Excuse me, sir.
You must be the new boy.
Yeah.
You must think I'm him.
Well, stop wandering about and make yourself useful. Bernie, come here, boy. This is Benoit, my nephew. Can I trust you to look after him?
Do your own babysitting, Gramps. Who do you think you are, anyhow?
I am Felix Hagenmeyer.
And may I say what an honor it is to meet you in person, sir. You are on my medical wall of fame. Right up there with Pasteur and Leary.
Who?
I look on it as a privilege, no, an honor, to look after your nephew, sir.
He is fresh out of medical school. It will open his eyes to see a real doctor on the job.
I'll bet.
Show him around. Let him see some real suffering.
Look what Nurse Grendel gave me, sir.
Ah, yes, very good. I'm glad to see you are carrying it with you. It reassures the public to see the medical profession using traditional archaic tools.
So long, Hagenmeyer.
Okay, so do we talk to this guy now? Benoit?
Hey, Benoit.
There's no need to shout. What do you want?
Do you want this?
Here, take this pressure gauge.
Thank you, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Well, keep it safe until I think of something.
Now, follow me, Benoit. Wait, this is
Behind you, sir.
Let's go this way. Looks like father and son, isn't it? Now we'll get him to take the blood pressure of this old fossil. And hopefully...
Doctor?
I can escape.
What is it now, nurse?
Number 2 again. He won't tell me what he wants. He says he'll only talk to a man.
Do I have to? That guy's nuts.
Doctor, I'm surprised at you. There's no way to talk about our clients.
Okay, I'll see him. But I'm telling you, he's a hypochondriac. Hello again.
Literally doesn't want to say a damn thing.
Goodbye and good luck.
What the
Thanks,
hell?
Doc.
What the fuck? Oh no, I have to talk to this guy.
Hey, Benoit.
Yes, sir.
Ah.
Are you ready with that pressure gauge?
Primed and ready to pump, sir. What do you want me to do with it?
Give it to that old bastard.
Use it on Eric Sopmarsh.
Okay.
Now I can go over here, freeze me up. Oh yeah. Look at the policeman.
He sat like a statue of a sack of potatoes, but the cop's eyes were as watchful as a hawk's.
Doesn't really look like it, sure doesn't. Just kind of look down the floor.
I'm Dr. Stobbart.
Bonjour, docteur.
Have you heard of a guy called Marquet?
He's in quarantine, doc, right behind this here door.
Marquet is just the man I wanted to see.
I wouldn't go in there if I was you. He has anthrax.
I have to visit my patient.
What for?
Routine. I have to check he's still breathing.
What if he's not?
I'll sign the certificate and register his bed as vacant.
That's a cold and distant attitude to death.
Well, I've been institutionalized to the point of godlike aloofness.
The white coat suits you.
Thanks.
These two
Have
jokers.
you seen any suspicious characters on the ward?
Yeah, I have.
A gorilla and a weasel?
No, this was a tatty old bear.
How was the bear acting suspiciously?
Well, he was wearing a homburg.
Is that against the law?
No, but it's pretty weird for a bear.
Don't you think it's possible that the bear was a man in disguise?
Well, obviously, I'm not completely stupid. But who would go to the bother of disguising himself as a bear? It's not as if he'd blend in with the surroundings. I checked with base to see if any bears had been reported missing from the zoo or a traveling circus. They told me to sit tight until reinforcements arrive. I guess they're right. I'd be stupid to tackle a bear single-handed.
He's correct.
Catch you later, officer.
Au revoir, Doc. If you see that bear, kick him in the nuts.
Right in the nuts. Let's go in this door. Let me in.
Rather you than me, pal.
Alright, let's take a look at the chart.
Another graph, another life. On the top of the chart was his name, Jacques Marquet. I didn't need to be a doctor to read the graphs. Marquet was dying. The machine was far too complex for me to understand. Marquet's slim hold on life was being measured, monitored, and maintained by the machinery on the rack.
Let's talk to him. Actually, let's look at that first of
The
all.
bottles were full of liquid, with a little trail of bubbles rising to the surface. I figured Marquet's life depended on those bottles, so I decided not to disturb them.
That's a good idea.
Marquet was either peacefully sleeping or placidly dead. Rousing him in the latter case would take a miracle.
Can we talk to him at least?
Marquet?
Yes, I am Marquet. I've been expecting you.
You have?
Well, what are you waiting for? Get it over with.
I just want to know what I should do with the gem.
The Lamar gem.
Yeah, right here in my pocket.
Oh, I thought you were one of the assassins.
Not me. I never inhaled.
So, you were sent in my place?
Yeah. You could hardly make the trip to Ireland in your condition. What should I do with the gem?
Deliver it to the Grandmaster. Quickly, tell him that I have found the tripod right here in Paris.
What, you have it?
Not yet, but it's being taken care of. I hired a couple of stooges. with a flair for petty crime.
Would that be Flap and Guido by any chance?
You know them?
We've met. What about the Hashashin?
He's more likely to have followed Klausner. He'll stop at nothing to prevent the reforging of the sword.
And that's bad, is it?
As for Klausner, he has gone off to Syria on a wild goose chase.
They have geese in Syria?
He has a theory about the location of the...
That's enough excitement for one day, Monsieur Marquet. What are you doing here?
Talking to this patient, of course.
Monsieur Marquet is my patient. Herr Hagenmeyer was to hear that.
Okay, I'm going. I'd learned all I could from Marquet anyhow.
Nothing suspicious about this scene.
Ah, there you are, sir. I was just coming to look for you. I finished with your pressure gauge.
Thanks, Bunny.
What's that noise? It sounds as if someone's having a cardiac arrest.
It's all right. The doctor's in there with him.
Not good.
Are you sure he was a doctor?
Oui, monsieur. He showed me his ID. It was Dr. Braille.
There's no Dr. Braille working here.
He's an imposter! The door's locked. Help me, officer.
Oh no.
Stand back, monsieur.
Sounds like he's dead. Back in Nico's apartment.
I found Jacques Marquet.
Did he talk?
Yeah, he talked. For the very last time.
He's dead.
Yeah, killed in cold blood by a bogus doctor.
That's despicable. What kind of guy would pass himself off as a doctor and take advantage of a dying man? Was it Khan?
No, I don't know who he was, but it certainly wasn't Khan. He got away, out the window.
Let's talk about all the topics.
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
No.
Marquet said that they were his biggest enemy.
His biggest enemy was the bogus doctor.
Don't remind me. That guy was evil. He had wild, staring eyes like a dead fish. I'll never trust a doctor again. Do you think the assassin was responsible for killing Marquet?
I don't think so. He could have finished him off the first time. Besides, Marquet would have recognized him.
He was pumped to the gills with sedatives. He wouldn't have recognized the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse unless they'd introduced themselves. Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Do we have to?
That's the tripod in the Croon Museum. That's the gem that Pegram found in Lochmarn.
Right, I'm gonna come out of this because we've been through all the topics.
Have you found out any more about the Knights Templar?
Yes, I have. The guy responsible for their downfall was Philippe IV, the King of France, otherwise known as Philippe le Bel. Well, he is known to history as Philippe the Fair, but I doubt if the Templars called him that. I'm sure André will tell you all about him.
Sure, let's hear maybe.
Can you think of any use for this?
That's a thing for measuring blood pressure, isn't it? What are you doing with that?
I picked it up in the hospital. It could be useful.
You ought to take it back. Don't you feel guilty?
No.
Right.
I guess I'd better go back and talk to that weirdo.
Which one, Rosso or Sergeant Mou? Oh, but you're referring to André.
I'll let you work it out.
André for sure. Right, let us head to the Croon Museum once more. No, there's no real way to like skip the walking. Right, the hospital's now out of bounds. Let's go to Musique Rune. Head inside.
You have left it very late, monsieur.
Late for what?
Anything? I am closing the museum soon. You wouldn't like to get locked in. I can tell you, not in this gallery.
Why not?
It is haunted, monsieur.
You don't believe in ghosts, surely.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh, yes, he does.
7 years ago, a lad managed to hide in here. He made a bet with his friends, I suppose. When I found him in the morning, he was cold as ice and stiff as a board.
Well, what was the cause of death?
They said it was a brain tumor. But on his face was a look of stark, desperate terror such as I have never seen before.
Scary.
I guess I can talk about the topics.
Can you give me any further information about the tripod?
Certainly, monsieur. It's infamous. That tripod, that belonged to John Dee.
Who's John Dee?
What's the importance of John Dee's tripod?
Dee was the most famous escapologist of the 16th century. The Houdini of his time.
Don't you mean alchemist? Escapologists use ropes, chains, and handcuffs, not tripods.
Well, whatever he was, that is the tripod he used in his experiments.
What kind of experiments did John Dee perform with his tripod?
Oh, the usual. Didn't you study chemistry at school?
Yeah, but we skipped over thaumatology. Can I take a closer look at the tripod?
What? Get it out of the case? No.
No.
That tripod is protected by a sophisticated surveillance system.
How sophisticated?
A painfully loud alarm bell.
How is the alarm bell triggered?
By the slightest pressure on or movement of any part of the case wherein that tripod is situated.
It strikes me that to call your alarm system sophisticated is, well, stretching the truth a little.
How so?
It has never failed yet. The sophistication is in its simplicity.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
Yeah. It doesn't mention John Dee at all.
Most remiss.
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. Well, 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read, so he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
You know, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied art and did all my homework,
No.
I could be a professor of history?
No.
At your age? Dream on. What can you tell me about the collection of coins?
A rare example of silver coinage from the reign of Philippe le Bel. That little old lay buried for centuries in a field on the outskirts of Paris. They're unique. Nothing like them has been found anywhere else in Europe.
Are we still listening to this guy?
What can you tell me about the collection of coins?
A rare example of
Let's
silver
skip
coin-
this because
that
I've
li- Yeah, you
heard them.
What can you tell me about the collection of pottery?
Those are remains of pots used by the original inhabitants of Paris. The Paris pot people.
When did they move out?
15,000 years ago, monsieur. Vanished in the mists of time. Didn't even have time to pack up their pots.
Right, enough talking to you.
Thanks for your help.
Let's talk to Labano.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie.
Let's talk about the assassin.
Have you ever heard of the Hashashin?
Why, yes, it was a radical Muslim sect whose name became synonymous with murder. It was formed in 11th century Persia, shortly before the Crusades.
At roughly the same time as the Templars.
Yes, they gave a new word to our language, assassini, the assassins.
How did the assassins get their name?
From the legends surrounding the secrets of their initiation rites. A young man who sought to join the sect was given hashish until he drifted into dreams. He awoke to find himself in a fabulous garden with everything he could wish for. The freshest water, the most delicious food, the choicest hash, and the most delectable women imaginable.
Cool. Do you have the address?
I haven't finished the story. There was a price to pay for this taste of paradise.
Wouldn't you just know it?
The young man would wake the next day to find himself back in the real world. He was told that he'd been given a glimpse of the heaven reserved for holy martyrs. A heaven he would enjoy for eternity if he was willing to join the Hashashin.
Cut off his
How
finger.
did the assassins operate?
Well, as I explained, the new recruits would be only too willing to die for the cause. They'd be instructed in the use of the dagger, poisons, and disguise. Then, the Grand Master of the sect would name an enemy of Allah.
And they'd stop at nothing to eliminate that enemy.
You got it. They were fearless and deadly.
Does the cult of the assassins still exist?
Take a look around at the world today. You tell me.
What can you tell me about Philippe le Bel?
He was responsible for the extermination of the Knights Templar.
I know that, but why was Philip so hot to get rid of them?
Mostly because he wanted to get his hands on their treasure. He had an enormous debt and a lifelong war with England to fund. The trouble was, the Templars were a highly respected holy order.
If the Templars were so powerful, how did this Philippe dude wipe them out?
By underhanded, dishonorable means, of course. The Pope was Clement V, a Frenchman.
French, huh? Handy for Philippe.
Fate had nothing to do with it. He was Philippe's puppet, planted to further his political ambitions. Philippe wanted the wealth of the Templars and used Clement to get it.
Let's talk once more.
So what was Philippe's plan? What happened?
Sealed orders were sent out all over France, not to be opened until the appointed day. That day was Friday, July 13th. That's the origin of our superstition regarding that date. At dawn, throughout the whole of France, the Templars were arrested. It was the biggest bust in the history of the world.
Of the word.
What happened to the Templars after their arrest?
Philippe was out for blood, so he handed the Templars over to the Inquisition. Not surprisingly, they confessed to a sensational and sordid list of blasphemies.
Like what?
Oh, the sort of things you read about in the gutter press. Devil worship, lewd sexual practices, spitting on the Holy Cross, that kind of thing.
Well, that must have given their lawyers some headaches.
Whether or not the accusations were true, this was not good publicity. Most of the charges were probably cooked up, but so were the Templars, literally. Hundreds of them were found guilty of heresy and flamed grilled at the stake. They died protesting their innocence.
But surely Philippe had no proof of his charges against the Templars.
A man will admit anything under torture. The Inquisition fabricated some nonsensical demon called Baphomet, and then suggested to their victims that this was what they worshipped.
But they didn't have to agree.
The records show a Templar coming to trial with both feet burnt off. Fragments of flesh and charred bone falling from the stumps. What would you not admit to stop such torment?
So there was no truth at all in the Baphomet accusations?
Not a shred. Almost every victim described the idol differently. No, Baphomet never existed outside the sick minds of the Inquisitors.
Interesting.
So Philippe stole the Templars' riches, huh?
Oh no, they weren't stupid. The king's troops marched first on the temple in Paris, then to the Templar home port at La Rochelle. There was no trace of the treasure, and the fleet of the Knights Templar had set sail.
Let's talk about the tripod.
I think you ought to know that the tripod is going to be stolen.
The Lochman tripod? No.
It's true. I can give you a description of the thieves.
Before the supposed event has taken place?
I heard them planning the raid.
They're wasting their time. The tripod is protected by a state-of-the-art alarm system.
Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Why don't you loan the tripod to me for safekeeping?
Nice try.
Because I'd never see it again.
Well, don't you trust me?
It's not a question of trust, George. That tripod is hundreds of years old and extremely fragile.
I get your point.
Right. So if he won't give it
Thanks
to
for
me,
your help, Andre.
then he's
You're
not going to listen.
welcome.
We're going to have to devise a way. Maybe open this. Oh, he's looking at me. Don't open it. Don't open it. He's looking at me. I can do it when he's not looking. He's going to walk over towards me. And he's going to turn his back, and that's when we'll strike. There we go. Strike now. Now, while he comes over, let's walk over here. Get close to this because we won't go inside this sarcophagus. Once he starts messing with the window, he's going to mess with the window now. There we go. Come on now, get in. And we can hide here until nightfall.
It is closing time, Monsieur Lobineau.
Already, there just aren't enough hours in the day.
More than enough for me. I can't wait to get home and put my feet up.
Eh bien, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, buddy.
Monsieur.
Hours pass. Hours have passed. Now, where's these two jokers? There they are, coming to steal the goddamn thing.
Hey, Guido! Look at this!
Quit fooling around, you moron! Get your ass over here and bring that flashlight.
Alright, I can push this totem. Let's give it a push.
What the... Who's there?
Let's get out of here!
Ah, no. There we go. Hang on. Well, that's a good sign. Back in Nico's apartment.
And when I woke up, I was at the police station. Luckily, I managed to persuade Rosso I was innocent.
Poor George.
What a mess. I bungled the whole thing.
I don't think so. You made a pretty good job of distracting those two crooks.
Yeah, but the killer got away with the tripod.
Did he though?
No, he didn't. He's not the only one who can dress up in costume.
You mean
How did she keep that in her jacket?
you who stole the tripod? Oh, hell, Nico. I could have been shot.
Those dogs are more likely to shoot their own feet.
I just wish you'd told me your plans. We're supposed to be in this together. And how come you dressed up like a pantomime cat?
Don't sulk, Georgie, please.
Oh, rats. And don't call me Georgie.
Oh, I really
Georgie.
thought you'd be pleased. After all, we've got the tripod. Aren't you going to try putting the gem on the tripod?
I guess so.
What's going to happen, do you think?
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
The gem fits perfectly, but what does that prove?
Maybe the tripod has to be in a certain location.
There's nothing on the manuscript to indicate where, though, is there?
Oh, by the way, I had a visit from André Lobineau.
Oh, yeah. I hope you didn't mind me giving him your address.
Not at all. It was lovely to see him again.
George, what have
He
you
was over
done?
the moon when I showed him the manuscript. It's not often he gets that excited. He made a sketch of the Knight's crest to take back to the museum. I believe he's identified the family who bear that crest.
I sure hope so.
One more time, we'll talk about the Hashashin.
Lobineau explained who the Hashashin were.
Yeah?
The cult of the assassins.
Oh, boy!
Well, I'll talk about this, I suppose.
What do you think the purpose of this tripod is?
On the manuscript, the gem is shown mounted on top of it.
So, we risked a criminal charge to steal a display stand?
Don't ask me. Maybe it's intended to hold the gem in a specific position.
I have to go.
Already? You only just arrived.
Time and tide wait for no man.
True story.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Where are we going to go to, I wonder? Now, we've got a choice. We can either go to Montfajon, or I guess we could go back and talk to Andre, try and find the location of, the knowledge of the family he learnt about. I'm not actually sure. Right, let's see where this thing wants us to go. We'll give it a few seconds and it'll start sparkling. That's the benefits of playing this new version. It kind of gives you some hints. Now, where does it want me to go? Well, show us some sparkling. Should start soon, maybe. It's either going to be here or here. I kind of want to go here myself. It's time to go to Montfajon. You can see it there. Montfajon, should I say? Is that how you pronounce it? Well, here I am. Let's talk to the juggler. Oh, I can't hear the people clapping.
Hey, you with the ball.
Oui?
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Le Templier? Ah, the last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burned on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow. You're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No, I am a jongleur.
A jongleur?
Jongleur? What's that?
Mon Dieu. A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contre-gravitique aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crowned heads of Europe had the jongleurs, witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders, plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so.
That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
Oh, here we go.
I had no
Georgie
idea
boy.
what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be?
Pretty
A lot
difficult.
more difficult than I thought. That's how difficult. Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Not so easy after all, is it?
No, I guess not.
Can I give him the nose?
Look, a red nose.
Ah, you are a clown.
A clown?
No, if so, you would be a much better jongleur.
For a moment, an idea capered around near the spotlight of my attention, but fell down the pothole of abstraction before I could focus on it.
Well, we should hopefully shake his hand.
Didn't seem right to fry somebody's palm when they make their living with their hands.
It'd be funny though.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
And there's a manhole
In
cover.
the middle of the square was a manhole. I wondered if there might be something relevant beneath street level.
Can't really open it.
I couldn't open it with my bare hands.
I wonder... We can use the manhole, but I think we need to get rid of these guys first.
Hey! Hey, you!
Uh-oh.
What do you think you are doing?
Forgot about him.
Leave that comer alone. Now.
Sorry, no harm intended.
You stay away from that.
Let's take a look. The fountain.
An ornate fountain stood in one corner of the square. I'd have to come by here in the summer to see it working. There was no water to frolic about in, and the leaf mold that was collecting there just wasn't the same somehow.
Let's look at the sign.
In French, English, and German it read, "In 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the knightly order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine." Fixed to the wall was a sign in 3 languages.
Right, I wonder... Let's look at the tourists.
There was a small crowd of 5 sightseers. It's a weird thing, but you can take the most intelligent people in the world, put them in their vacation duds, and hey presto, they look like morons. Why is that?
Can we talk to them?
I had no desire to talk to the crowd.
No, can't talk to them. We can go up here to the actual place, I suppose. Alright, what have we got here?
A row of old pews, beautifully carved and glowing with polish. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies, the flabby flesh of the old men. That wasn't a pleasing image, so I went back to the young ladies. Whoa! I didn't have time to sit around.
Let's take a look at the tomb.
A knight's tomb, his effigy in marble lying in perpetual state, waiting in prayer for the judgment day.
With this guy.
A knight there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world, I guess.
Oh, wait, the monument at the floor?
A stone knight lay on the church floor. Just think, there's a dead guy under there.
See him again. See, it's good that all these, you can't click on them again.
A stone knight in a row of 4 lay on the church floor. I was surprised Philip le Bel had left this place alone.
See, so I can't click on these again, which is handy. So let's go and take a look at the window. Work our way through this.
A huge stained glass window formed a magnificent centerpiece for its neighbors. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work.
And now the final one.
A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy had died in combat.
Alright, now we can just click on the statue itself.
A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. The statue had any secrets. It was concealing them pretty well.
Take a look at the
On
staff.
the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack. Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported.
And can we look at the scroll?
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. Per disciplinum meum lux videbis. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
Feel like I'm missing something. And what's with the window here?
A huge arched window. Somehow it looked more modern than its neighbor.
Alright, shall we go back outside? I think this will want me to go back outside. Maybe. Well, let me go back outside. I'm pretty sure I have to go talk to that gendarme, the police officer, basically, the guy that told me to leave the manhole cover alone. Pretty sure I need to talk to him. So let's walk over here and talk to this guy. Yes, he's sparkling.
Excuse me, officer.
And how may I help you?
I think he's drunk.
What do you think of the juggler?
Ah, he is excellent, most watchable.
But he's blocking the thoroughfare and obstructing traffic.
So? He is amusing. The traffic isn't. If he wants to block it, who am I to say no?
You're a cop.
Ah, oui. So I am. Ah, well.
So you're not gonna do anything about this guy?
No.
He probably doesn't even have a license.
Ah, a license. This I had not considered.
So what are you gonna do?
The instant I return to the station, I shall check.
Return to the station? Why not just ask him?
And spoil his concentration? What kind of a barbarian do you take me for?
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Les Templiers. Only that they were excommunicated in 1312 and hanged in their dozens within this very square.
Boy, what they teach in the police academy these days.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
Everyone's reading that board.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the so-so Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
Can I talk to him about stuff, I suppose?
You know what this is?
It's a sewer key.
Does it mean anything to you?
Do you belong to some obscure arm of the Masons?
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah, you are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
No.
Yes.
Although you juggle like one. Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing.
Ah.
And not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Whoever heard of a plain-clothes clown?
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur. You have it.
He's right.
Does this red nose...
No.
What do you make of this grease paint-stained tissue?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my used tissues?
Not really.
Hell no.
Then please put yours away.
Have you seen this man before?
No. Who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
Oh.
Is that all you can say? Oh.
I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac, but it didn't seem polite.
Oh.
Would you like to shake... I stopped myself barely in time. Electrocuting a cop would not have been smart.
Nope, not at
They'd
all.
rebuild the Bastille just so they could throw me in and throw away the key. Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The pattern looks Middle Eastern. Beyond that, who knows?
Take a look at this.
Ah, an electrician. My TV has been acting up. Could you fix it?
I doubt it. This isn't my ID. Look at this gem. What do you think?
Cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
That's true.
So either it's glass or I'm mad? I didn't like to think about that for too long. Do you know what this is?
Aha! You Americans with your notorious nose candy. I read Hollywood Wives. I know all about it.
If you tried to sniff this stuff, you'd wall up your nostrils. It's plaster of Paris.
It is. Thank heaven. For one awful moment, I thought I might actually have to arrest somebody. Alors, the paperwork. You have no idea.
What do you think of this?
A blood pressure sleeve.
Don't you want to know why I'm carrying it?
No. That would be dangerously similar to making inquiries. I might get a reputation for taking my job seriously.
We can't have that.
What do you know about medieval ironmongery? Have a look at this little baby.
A tripod. What is it for?
You mean you don't know?
No, monsieur. Nor do you, I think.
Right.
I'll see you around.
Let's
Oui, monsieur.
let's give his
I'll be there.
let's give his theory a test. So if we put on the nose. Let's see, will it work this time?
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
Look, a red nose.
Oh, you say, whoop-de-doo.
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
Let's ask him a couple
I'd like
questions.
to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps?
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
Okay, now for my secret weapon.
The red nose.
The juggler was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls
And took off.
and left in a fury. Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change.
Which frees me up to open the manhole cover. Happy days. These guys can all fuck off. Nope, just gonna stand there and watch me. Right, let's head down. See yous. Back in the sewer again. Right, so with the murky water.
The recent showers had made the levels rise a little, but at least the place didn't smell so much. What's a guy supposed to do with a sewer? Don't answer that.
Let's look at the boat.
A weird little boat lay tied up. I guess they used it to get maintenance crews around.
Either that or the Phantom of the Opera was somewhere near.
On the boat was a winching machine. There was a handle in the boat that fed out chain with a hook on the end.
Can I use it to lower the chain? Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at the doors.
There were 3 arches, each with an inscription.
Let's take a look at this one first.
Close up, I could see a faded inscription. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe.
Let's take a look at this one.
The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence. There were 3 arches.
And let's take a look at this one.
The inscription was undecipherable. The plaster had cracked and was falling away. I wondered why.
Ah. Okay.
There were 3.
Okay, yes. Tell you what we'll do. We'll maybe bash this in.
Hey, that's hollow. It was time for some brutal destruction. Close up, I could see the plaster was thinner where I'd broken through, and behind it were some cogs and a lever.
Okay, so let's get this hook. Get it hooked up to this thing. No, we can't do that.
There was some sort of mechanism hidden inside the wall, with a lever in the middle of it. Here goes. Hey, cool. Inside the hole, I could see one of the cogs had come loose and jammed the mechanism solid. I'd pulled the lever right over.
Can we now take this and maybe use it to open up the rest of the door? Yes, we can. Alright, let's use the wrench. Pull this thing open. There we go. Let's head down this way. Hopefully we won't die. Let's take a look at...
The door mechanism was trashed. It would take a blacksmith or an engineer to do anything with that.
Let's take a look at the
There was
gap.
a crack in the wall. Through it, I could see a glimmer of natural light.
Let's take a look through it. We don't want to go downstairs without seeing what we've seen.
In the beginning was the end.
An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness.
In the end will be a beginning.
An end to our enemies heralds our new day.
Report. The military establishments are in flux. The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Good. Mademoiselle?
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex for their own executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower. We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over forethought and planning in all the major governments. They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Excellent. The tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations. The millennium is almost upon us, and everything is in place for the rise of our new order. Almost. Professor,
Where is the broken sword?
What?
Ah, as we discussed last time, with the loss of the manuscript, our search is, as a corollary, hindered.
And as discussed last time, you have been furnished with a dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
We are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say, our predecessors,
Hold on. These are the Templars?
must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of Baphomet's location. I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out that trail.
I trust these historians and archaeologists are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lochmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we have a sacred duty? A trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the Order, we lost the sword and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short. We need results, not petty bickering, not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course, my apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword, manuscript or no. We have already found another element actually within Paris.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, we're not exactly sure at present.
Ha!
But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the hospital.
Marquet was a liability. Eklund dealt with him on my orders.
I beg your pardon, Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
We already know 3 of the elements. We know that Klausner had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
Don't want to go down there just yet because they're probably still there, so let's take another wee look.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet. I hope that I don't need to emphasize the importance of finding it. Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition. The new millennium will belong to us. The next time that we meet, it will be to become the princes of this world!
Skeptical much? It's comical in the wee boat. Laughing in a wee boat together. Right, now that I know they've fucked off, we can go down. Could George be going any slower, honestly? There's
In
a
the middle
pedestal.
of the circle was a stump of stone, a shaft of daylight from the world above lancing down to touch it. I noticed 3 small notches around the edge of the stump's top.
I know what to do. And then the gem.
The tripod's feet.
Let's put that on top and hopefully it'll show us a sign.
The light falling from above struck the gem and scattered in 5 neat rays, and each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the seal, I could read M-A-R-I-B. Marib. Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant.
Back in Nico's apartment.
Nico, I've seen them.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
And you saw the Knights Templar?
I saw a bunch of guys masquerading as Templars.
He's on the sofa.
They're after something called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet. The manuscript is the key, just as we thought. It shows the way to the broken sword, whatever that is.
And how does the assassin fit into all this?
He's out to stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Clantar was one of them. The assassin killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, how do they hope to find the sword?
I don't know. They said something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria. But they didn't seem to realize the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone, I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription. I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem split the beam and lit the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib is a village in Syria.
Then the Neo-Templars are ahead of us. Klausner beat me to it.
You're not thinking of going there yourself, are you?
Why not?
These guys are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay. What about the tripod?
I'll send it back to Andre, anonymously.
Alright.
Do you think I should go to Marib?
Syria is a long way, George.
That wasn't a yes or a no, it was just, it's a long way. What does that mean? It's cryptic. Not sure. Right, well, I think we're going to save it. We've been playing for 4 hours 21 minutes. No, sorry, 4 hours 41 minutes. My goodness. We're going to save it and go to the main menu because that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you did like the video. And subscribe to the channel to be notified of more videos such as this one and others coming up in the channel. And hopefully I'll see you again in the next one. Bye for now.